The text message arrived at 11:47 p.m. to a number that didn't belong to anyone Emma knew. "The bad man is coming back. Please help us, my teacher is scared." Nico Caruso stared at his phone in the back of a black Mercedes, Chicago's winter lights bleeding across the screen. Wrong number. Had to be. But the area code was Southside, and something about those words, "my teacher is scared," made his jaw tighten in a way that had nothing to do with business. He texted back, "Who is this?" The reply came in seconds, shaky letters like small fingers had typed them. "Emma, my real mommy's gone and the bad cop knows where we live." Nico's driver glanced in the rearview mirror. "Boss? Change of plans." Welcome to Shadows and Second Chances, where the most dangerous men discover that true power isn't found in fear. It's found in the courage to protect someone who can't protect themselves. If you believe that redemption is possible even in the darkest places, hit that subscribe button and like this video. Drop a comment telling us where you're watching from. We love hearing from you. Now let's see how one desperate message changed 3 lives forever. 20 minutes earlier, Lila Chen had been trying to stop a 5-year-old from destroying her already destroyed apartment. Emma was screaming, not crying, screaming, the kind of raw sound that came from a place too deep for tears. She'd thrown a lamp across the room, shattering it against the wall where the paint was already peeling. The stuffed rabbit Lila had bought her lay decapitated on the floor, cotton guts spilling out. "Emma, sweetie, please." Lila's voice cracked. She was so tired. 3 doubles at the diner this week and now this. The little girl had been living with her for 2 weeks. Temporary emergency placement while CPS sorted out what to do with a kindergartner who'd watched her mother bleed out on a Southside sidewalk. "I want my mommy." Emma's face was blotchy, snot running down her chin. "I want her back." Lila knelt on the cold linoleum, arms open, even though Emma had already hit her twice tonight. The apartment was freezing. The radiator had been broken for a month, and the landlord didn't care. She could see her own breath. Outside, sirens wailed, distant and constant like the city's heartbeat. "I know, baby, I know." What else could she say? That it gets easier? It didn't. Lila knew that better than anyone. Emma launched herself forward, small fists pounding Lila's chest before collapsing into sobs. Lila wrapped her arms around the tiny body, feeling it shake. The girl smelled like the cheap shampoo from the dollar store, and something sour. Fear, maybe, or grief. Then Emma went rigid. "He's outside." Lila's blood turned to ice. "What?" "The bad man. He's watching." Emma's voice had gone flat, dead in the way that made Lila's stomach clench. She'd seen this before, the shutdown, the dissociation, trauma response. Lila moved to the window, careful to stay to the side. Her hands were shaking. She knew who Emma meant. Marcus had been texting all week, ever since he'd somehow found out about Emma. "We need to talk, Lila. About the girl. About us." There was no us. There hadn't been for 8 months. Not since she'd finally gotten the courage to leave. Not since the night he'd... She couldn't think about that now. She peeked through the gap in the curtain. A car idled across the street, headlights off. Dark sedan. Could be anyone. Could be him. "Okay." Lila's voice came out steadier than she felt. "Okay, we're okay. He can't come in here." But they both knew that was a lie. Marcus was a cop. He could go anywhere. Emma had pulled out Lila's phone from the couch cushions. She'd been playing games on it earlier. Now her small fingers moved across the screen with frantic purpose. "Emma, what are you?" "Texting someone." The girl's face was set in grim determination that no 5-year-old should have to wear. "Someone who can help." Who? Lila didn't have anyone. Her family was back in Taiwan, and she'd lost most of her friends when Marcus started isolating her. There was no one. The phone buzzed. Emma stared at the screen, then looked up with wide, wet eyes. He says he's coming. Nico's Mercedes pulled up to the address 23 minutes later. The building was a shithole. Crumbling brick, half the windows boarded up, the kind of place that made him remember why he'd clawed his way out of the South Side in the first place. His driver started to get out, but Nico stopped him with a raised hand. "Stay here." The cold hit him like a fist when he stepped onto the street. February in Chicago, the kind of cold that got into your bones and stayed there. He could see his breath, see the ice forming on the sidewalk. "Third floor," the text had said. "Apartment 3C. He took the stairs 2 at a time, his Italian leather shoes echoing in the stairwell that reeked of piss and desperation. When he knocked, there was a long silence. Then, a woman's voice, tight with fear. "Who is it?" "You texted me. About the bad cop." Another pause. Nico heard whispering, a child's voice mixed with an adult's. Then locks clicking. 3 of them, he counted. The door opened a crack, chain still on. A woman stared out at him. Mid-20s, maybe, with dark hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. Exhausted eyes, defensive posture. And behind her, peeking around her legs, a small face with brown eyes too old for their age. The little girl, Emma, looked at him for a long moment. Then, in a voice that cracked something inside Nico's chest, "Are you the helper?" Lila's eyes went from Nico's face to his coat, expensive, custom-tailored black wool, to the car idling below with its tinted windows. Recognition flickered across her features. Not recognition of him specifically, but of what he was. The kind of man who drove cars like that, wore coats like that, moved through the South Side at midnight like he owned it. Because in many ways, he did. Her grip tightened on the doorframe. "We don't need—" "Yeah," Nico said quietly, looking past her at the broken lamp, the destroyed stuffed animal, the apartment that was colder inside than outside. "You do." Lila didn't invite him in. She stood in the doorway like a guard dog, thin frame blocking entry to her broken kingdom. Nico could see the calculation in her eyes, the same look he'd seen in men before negotiations turned violent. She was weighing options she didn't have. "Emma," she said without turning around, voice firm despite the tremor underneath. "Go to the bedroom." "But now, baby." The little girl disappeared into the shadows of the apartment. Nico heard a door close, soft but definite. Smart kid. Traumatized, yes, but smart. Lila unchained the door and stepped into the hallway, pulling it mostly shut behind her. She crossed her arms over her thin sweater, gray, worn at the elbows. No coat. The hallway was barely warmer than outside. "I don't know who you are," she said, "but I know what you are." Nico studied her. Up close, she was prettier than he'd first registered. Delicate features, full mouth set in a hard line, eyes that had seen too much. Bruises on her wrists, fading to yellow. Old ones. And the way she stood, weight on her back foot, ready to bolt or fight. He'd seen that stance before. In shelters. In safe houses. "You grew up somewhere that taught you to read power," he said. Not a question. Her jaw tightened. Immigration detention. "Mexico to Texas to here. I learned real fast who to avoid and who to—" She stopped herself. "You didn't answer my question." "Nico Caruso." He watched for recognition. Got it. A flicker, quick but unmistakable. "And before you slam that door, you should know the car across the street? It's been there for 40 minutes. Dark sedan, Illinois plates, driver smoking menthols. That's not random." The color drained from her face. "Marcus. The bad cop." She wrapped her arms tighter around herself, and Nico realized she was shaking, not from fear alone, from cold. The woman was freezing. He shrugged out of his coat and held it out. Lila stared at it like he'd offered her a live grenade. I don't need... Your lips are blue. I don't need your charity. Her voice cracked on the last word. I don't need you playing savior because some little girl sent you a text by accident. We're fine. You're not fine. Nico kept his voice level, the same tone he used when talking jumpers off ledges. Calm. Factual. Your heat's out, your ex is stalking you, and that little girl in there is holding on by a thread. I can see it from here. Lila's eyes flashed. You don't know anything about us. I know Emma's mother was killed 3 weeks ago in a drive-by. I know CPS placed her with you temporarily. I know you're a kindergarten teacher at PS 47 making $32,000 a year. And I know you left a cop 8 months ago. He paused. How am I doing? She went very still. You looked me up. In 20 minutes. I make it a point to know who's texting me at midnight. Then you also know we're none of your business. But her voice had lost some of its edge. She was tired, scared. And she was doing that thing survivors did, calculating the cost of pride versus the cost of refusing help. Nico had seen his mother make the same calculation. Right before his father's fist made the choice for her. He pushed the memory down, deep where it couldn't touch him. I'm not here to save you, he said. I'm here because a kid asked for help and I don't ignore that. Why? The question came out raw. What do you want? Honest answer or easy lie? Nico chose honest, because this woman would spot a lie from a mile away. My sister was 9 when she died. Wrong place, wrong time, caught in crossfire between crews that didn't give a shit about little girls walking home from school. He kept his voice flat, empty. I made a promise that day. Any kid asks me for help, I show up. That's it. No. Strings. Lila searched his face, looking for the con, the angle. She wouldn't find one because there wasn't one. This was the only clean thing Nico had left. Finally, she took the coat, put it on. It swallowed her, hanging past her knees. She closed her eyes briefly, and Nico saw her shoulders drop half an inch as the warmth hit her. Okay, she whispered. What are you offering? An hour later, Lila sat at her kitchen table watching the most dangerous man in Chicago make hot chocolate for a traumatized 5-year-old. It was surreal. Nico Caruso, and she knew exactly who he was now, had seen his face on the news enough times, always in the background of federal investigations that never quite stuck, was in her kitchen. He'd taken off his suit jacket, rolled up the sleeves of his black dress shirt. She could see the edge of a tattoo on his left forearm, dark ink disappearing under fabric. Emma sat on the counter next to him, wrapped in Lila's bathrobe because the apartment was so cold. She'd stopped screaming, stopped destroying things. She watched Nico with wary fascination as he heated milk on the stove, the only burner that still worked. Not too hot, Emma said. Small voice. Careful. I know. Nico tested the temperature with his finger. My sister liked it warm, not hot. Said hot chocolate should feel like a hug. Your sister's smart. Was. The word came out quiet. She was smart. Emma absorbed this with the gravity of a child who understood past tense too. Well. My mommy was smart too. She knew all the words to every song. Nico poured the chocolate into a chipped mug, added 2 small marshmallows from a bag he'd sent his driver to buy from the 24-hour bodega. He lifted Emma off the counter, set her gently at the table across from Lila. Careful. Blow on it first. Emma blew, making the marshmallows spin. Then she looked up at Nico with those ancient eyes. Are you going to make the bad man go away? Lila's heart stopped. Nico crouched down, bringing himself to Emma's eye level. His face was angular in the dim kitchen light, all sharp lines and shadows. But his voice was soft. "I'm going to make sure you and Miss Lila are safe. That's a promise." "Promises break sometimes." Emma's voice was matter of fact. "My mommy promised we'd go to the zoo. Then she went away." Something flickered across Nico's face. Pain, maybe, or recognition. "Some promises break," he said. "Mine don't." He stood, turned to Lila. "You work tomorrow?" She nodded, mute. "Call in sick. Both of you are staying somewhere safe tonight, and we're fixing this situation before it gets worse." "I can't just—" Lila started. "You can't stay here." Nico's voice was harder now, back to the tone she'd heard in the hallway. Command, not suggestion. "Marcus knows where you live. He's probably made copies of your keys. And that lock on your door? I could pick it in 30 seconds. Fear crawled up her spine. "Where do you want us to go?" "Somewhere he won't think. To look. Somewhere warm. Somewhere that little girl can sleep without worrying about bad men watching through windows." Lila looked at Emma, who was drinking hot chocolate with both hands wrapped around the mug, eyes half closed, the first peaceful expression she'd worn in days. "This is insane," Lila whispered. "Yeah," Nico agreed. "But you're gonna say yes anyway. Because you're not stupid, and you know I'm right." He was. God help her, he was. Lila thought about Marcus's texts, about the car, idling outside, about Emma's screaming, the lamp shattered against the wall, the endless nights of terror and exhaustion, about the bruises on her wrists that had finally faded, and the absolute certainty that Marcus wouldn't stop until he had what he wanted. Control. Possession. Her. She looked at Nico Caruso, criminal, killer, the man mothers warned their daughters about, and saw something she hadn't expected. Honesty. He wasn't pretending to be good, wasn't hiding what he was. Unlike Marcus, who wore a badge and smiled at neighbors while he choked her in their bedroom. Unlike the system that had shuffled her through detention centers with promises of safety that never came. Nico was a monster who kept his word. Maybe that was enough. "One night," she said. "Just tonight. And you don't touch her. You don't—" "I don't hurt kids." The words came out like iron. "Ever. That's the line I don't cross." Lila believed him. She didn't know why, didn't trust the instinct, but she believed him. "Okay." Emma looked up, marshmallow on her upper lip. "Are we going somewhere?" Nico smiled, and it transformed his face completely, softened the hard edges, made him look almost kind. "Yeah, Piccola. Somewhere warm, somewhere safe. You bring your rabbit?" "He's broken." Emma's voice went small again. "Then we'll fix him." Nico held out his hand. "Come on, let's get you both out of the cold." Emma slipped her tiny hand into his without hesitation, and Lila, watching them, felt something crack, open in her chest. Something that felt dangerously close to hope. Nico's house wasn't a house. It was a fortress disguised as a North Shore mansion. Lila stepped through the front door and felt the warmth hit her like a physical thing. Real heat. Not the anemic rattle of a broken radiator, but deep, enveloping warmth that smelled like wood and leather and something expensive she couldn't name. Emma's grip on her hand tightened. The foyer alone was bigger than Lila's entire apartment. Marble. Floors, a staircase that curved up to a second floor, art on the walls that looked original. Through an archway, she could see a living room with floor-to-ceiling windows, a fireplace actually burning, furniture that had probably cost more than her yearly salary. "This is your house?" Emma's voice was very small. "Yeah." Nico set down the garbage bag they'd stuffed their clothes into. Literally everything they owned fit in one bag. "You hungry?" Emma nodded. Come on. The kitchen made Lila want to cry. It was pristine, all marble countertops and stainless steel appliances that gleamed under soft pendant lights. The refrigerator was the size of a car, and when Nico opened it, she saw food. Real food. Fruits, vegetables, milk that wasn't expired, cheese that didn't come in plastic slices. Sit. Nico pointed at the island. Emma climbed onto a bar stool, legs dangling. Lila stood awkwardly by the doorway, still wearing his coat over her thin sweater. She felt like a stain on expensive fabric. Nico pulled out eggs, butter, bread, started cooking without asking what they wanted. His movements were efficient, practiced, not the movements of a man who had people cook for him. You live here alone? Lila asked. Mostly. Security outside. Housekeeper comes twice a week. He cracked eggs one-handed into a pan. But yeah, just me. It's big for just you. It's safe. He glanced at her. 6 cameras on the perimeter, reinforced doors, panic room in the basement. No one gets in here, unless I want them to. Emma was watching the eggs sizzle. Can I have toast? With butter or jam? Both. Good choice. Nico slid bread into a toaster that probably cost more than Lila's security deposit. Miss Lila, you want coffee? The formality was strange. Miss Lila. Like he was talking to Emma about a teacher, not addressing her directly. Yes. Please. He poured her a cup from a machine that looked like it belonged in a coffee shop. The smell alone made her lightheaded. When had she last had good coffee? Not the burnt diner stuff, or the instant powder she bought at the dollar store. She took a sip, closed her eyes. Perfect. When she opened them, Nico was watching her with an expression she couldn't read. Thank you, she said quietly. He nodded, turned back to the stove. They ate at the island. Scrambled eggs with cheese, toast with real butter and strawberry jam, orange juice that tasted like actual oranges. Emma ate like she was afraid the food would disappear. Lila had to stop herself from doing the same. There's more, Nico said. Eat as much as you want. Emma looked at him with something like wonder. Really? Really. Halfway through her second helping, Emma's eyes started to droop. The adrenaline crash, Lila recognized. The girl had been running on fear and fury for hours. There's a bedroom upstairs, Nico said. Second door on the right. Bathroom attached. Towels in the closet. You need anything else? Text me. He slid a card across the counter with a phone number. I'll be in my office down the hall. Door's always open. Lila stared at the number. You're not staying with us? You said no touching. That includes being alone with her without you present. His voice was flat, matter of fact. I keep my word, Miss Lila. Always. Something in her chest loosened. She hadn't realized how tense she'd been until that moment. She carried Emma upstairs. The bedroom was beautiful, king-sized bed with a duvet that looked like a cloud, more windows, overlooking a snow-covered lawn, a reading chair by a bookshelf. The attached bathroom had heated floors. Heated floors. Lila ran a bath, watched Emma splash in water that stayed warm. The girl found a rubber duck on the edge of the tub, clearly placed there recently, because Nico Caruso definitely didn't take bubble baths. He'd thought ahead. Bought a toy for a traumatized kid he'd never met. Miss Lila? Emma's voice echoed in the tile. Is this heaven? Lila's throat closed. No, baby. Just somewhere safe. It feels like heaven. That night, Emma fell asleep in the center of the enormous bed, wrapped in blankets that smelled like lavender. Lila lay next to her, staring at the ceiling, listening to the silence. No sirens, no shouting through walls, no Marcus's car idling outside. Just quiet. She must have dozed off because she woke to voices downstairs. Nico's voice, low and hard, and another man's, deferential. She slipped out of bed, crept to the top of the stairs. "Don't care what Sal wants," Nico was saying. "Tell him the shipment's delayed until I clear it personally. Last time we trusted his contact, we nearly had feds up our ass. Boss, he's not gonna be happy. Then he can be unhappy. I'm not moving product until I verify the source. End of discussion." A pause. "You've been different lately. Since that thing with DeMarco's crew, everyone's noticed." "Everyone can mind their fucking business." Nico's voice went cold. "Anything else?" "No, boss." Door closed. Silence. Lila stayed at the top of the stairs, heart pounding. This was who he was. Product. Shipments. Crews. Not a man making hot chocolate for kids. A criminal running an empire built on violence. She should run. Should grab Emma and disappear into the system, take her chances with CPS and Marcus and everything else. But she didn't move, because she'd heard something else in his voice. When he talked about verifying sources, about not risking federal attention, caution, strategy. Not recklessness. Marcus had been reckless, had beaten her in their bedroom and gone to work the next day like nothing happened, had threatened her family, her job, her life, all while wearing a badge that made him untouchable. Nico was a monster, but he was a careful monster. A monster with rules. Maybe that was the best she could hope for. The next 3 days fell into a strange rhythm. Mornings, Nico was gone before they woke up. But there was always breakfast waiting in the kitchen, bagels, and cream cheese, fruit salad, yogurt, juice. A note in sharp handwriting. Eat. There's more in the fridge. Emma started calling him Tio Nico, Uncle Nico. He'd fixed her stuffed rabbit, sewing it back together with surprisingly delicate stitches. Had bought her new clothes in the right size. Had set up a corner of the living room with coloring books and crayons and puzzles. Afternoons, he'd appear. Never asked if they needed anything, just provided. Lunch. Entertainment. Once he'd brought home a children's book about a brave little girl and read it to Emma in the living room while Lila watched from the kitchen, her coffee going cold in her hands. His voice changed when he read, softened. Did different character voices that made Emma giggle. "Again," Emma demanded when he finished. "I have a meeting in 20 minutes, Piccola." "Please?" He read it again. Evenings. They ate together. Nico cooked or ordered in from restaurants Lila couldn't afford. They sat at the massive dining table, and it should have been awkward. Teacher, mob boss, traumatized kindergartner. But Emma filled the silence with chatter about her day, about the puzzle she'd finished, about the cardinals she'd seen outside the window. "Do you think my mommy can see the birds too?" she asked one night. "In heaven?" Nico didn't look away, didn't deflect. "Yeah, I think she can." "Do you think she knows I'm safe now?" "I think she knows." Emma nodded, satisfied, and went back to her mac and cheese. Lila's eyes burned. On the 4th night, Lila found Nico in his office. She'd put Emma to bed, read her 3 stories, waited until the small body went limp with sleep. Then she'd walk down the hallway to the room that was always slightly open, light spilling out. She knocked. "Come in." He was behind a desk, laptop open, papers spread around him. He'd taken off his jacket, loosened his tie. There was a glass of whiskey next to his hand, half empty. "She asleep?" he asked without looking up. "Yeah, good." Lila stepped inside, closed the door behind her. The office was masculine, spare, dark wood, leather chairs, a wall of books that looked actually read. And on the desk, facing away from where anyone would normally sit, a photograph in a silver frame. A little girl with dark curls and a gap-toothed smile. "Your sister," Lila said quietly. Nico's hand tightened on his pen. Yeah. What was her name? He looked up then, gray eyes meeting hers, assessing whether she deserved the answer. Sophia, he said finally. She was 9, loved to read, wanted to be a teacher when she grew up. The words hung in the air between them. I'm sorry, Lila whispered. It was a long time ago. It doesn't feel like it, does it? He stared at her for a long moment. Then he picked up his glass, drained it in one swallow. No, he said. It doesn't. Lila sat in the chair across from him uninvited. Why are you really doing this? I know what you told me. But there's more. Isn't there? Nico leaned back, shadows playing across his face. My father was a violent drunk, beat my mother, beat me and Sophia when we got in the way. One night he came home high and angry, and Sophia tried to protect our mom. She was 7 years old, standing between them with her little fists up. His voice was empty, hollowed out. He put her in the hospital. Fractured skull. She recovered, but she was never the same. Scared all the time. 2 years later, she was walking home from school and caught a stray bullet meant for someone else. Lila's breath caught. I couldn't save her then, Nico continued. I was 12, and I couldn't do shit. But I swore that day, no kid would ever be scared on my watch again. No kid would ever feel powerless. That's the one thing I keep clean. You're not clean, Lila said gently. You know that, right? I know exactly what I am. His eyes were hard. But this? Emma? You? This is the line I don't cross. This is the thing I get to keep. And Lila understood then. This wasn't about her. Wasn't even really about Emma. This was about a 12-year-old boy who'd watched his sister die and decided to carve one good thing out of a life built on blood. Okay, she said. Okay? I believe you. Nico studied her face like he was looking for the lie. Wouldn't find one, because she did believe him. Against every instinct, every lesson the world had taught her, she believed him. Marcus is going to come for us, she said. Eventually, he won't stop. I know. And when he does, what are you going to do? Nico's jaw tightened. What needs to be done? That's what I'm afraid of. Lila leaned forward. Emma's finally sleeping through the night, finally smiling. If you kill him, if she sees violence again, she won't see anything. But she'll know. Kids always know. Lila's voice cracked. Please, there has to be another way. Nico looked at the photograph of his sister, then back at Lila. I'll think about it, he said quietly. It wasn't a promise, but it was something. Lila stood, walked to the door, paused. Thank you for all of this. Don't thank me yet, Nico said. This is just starting. The knock came at 6 a.m. on day 6. Lila woke to the sound of fists pounding on the front door, voices shouting. Emma jolted upright in bed, eyes wide with terror. It's him, she whispered. The bad man found us. Lila's heart hammered. She grabbed Emma, pulled her close. Stay here. Lock the door behind me. Miss Lila. Lock it, Emma. Don't open it for anyone but me. She ran downstairs in bare feet, still wearing the borrowed sleep shirt Nico had given her. He was already at the door, phone to his ear, face carved from stone. Don't care what jurisdiction you claim. You're not coming in without a warrant. Through the security camera screen on the wall, Lila saw them. 3 men in cheap suits. FBI, her brain supplied. Not Marcus. Worse. Nico hung up, looked at her. Get Emma. We're leaving. What? FBI got a tip about a material witness in a gang shooting. They want to take Emma into protective custody. Now. The floor tilted beneath Lila's feet. They can't. She's placed with me. CPS approved. CPS doesn't override federal witness protection. Nico's voice was clipped, efficient. They're saying she's in danger here, that I'm a risk to her safety. Did Marcus? Probably. Smart play. Use the system to take her from you legally. The pounding intensified. Mr. Caruso, open the door or we'll obtain an emergency court order. Lila couldn't breathe. What do we do? Nico looked at her, and for the first time since she'd met him, she saw something like uncertainty in his face. I can make them go away. Permanently. A few calls. Right people. They disappear into Lake Michigan and no one asks questions. No. The word came out sharp. No. Lila. That's not who you are. Not with this. You promised. I promised to keep you safe. Then keep us safe without becoming what they think you are. She grabbed his arm. Please. There has to be another way. The door shuddered. They were going to break it down. Nico's jaw worked. Then he pulled out his phone. Dialed. Marcus fucking Sterling, he said when someone answered. Yeah. Tell him Nico Caruso wants a conversation. 30 minutes. Neutral ground. He paused. Tell him if he doesn't show, I'll release the body cam footage of him beating his girlfriend in their apartment. The footage his partner sold me for 10 grand. He hung up. Lila stared. You have footage? I have everything. Nico moved to the door, opened it. 3 agents, hands on their weapons. Gentlemen, I'm calling my lawyer. You wait here or you get a warrant. Your choice. The lead agent's face reddened. We have exigent circumstances. You have a tip from a dirty cop with a restraining order against him. That's what you have. My lawyer will be here in 15 minutes. You can wait or you can explain to your supervisor why you broke into a private residence without proper cause. They waited. The meeting happened at a diner on the south side, the kind of place where cops and criminals had been making deals since Prohibition. Lila insisted on coming. Nico tried to refuse. She came anyway. Marcus was already there, sitting in a booth with his back to the wall. When Lila walked in, his face split into a smile that made her stomach turn. Lila, baby, I've been worried sick. Nico's hand found the small of her back, gentle but possessive. Sit down, Sterling. This is a business conversation. Marcus's eyes went to Nico's hand, then to his face. So the rumors are true. You're fucking a mobster now, trading up from a civil servant. Watch your mouth, Nico said quietly, dangerously. Lila slid into the booth across from Marcus. Nico sat next to her, close enough that their shoulders touched. She drew strength from the contact. What do you want, Marcus? I want you to come home, where you belong. His voice was reasonable, calm. The same voice he'd used after he'd choked her, explaining how it was her fault, how she'd made him angry. This is insane, Lila. Living with a criminal? Taking care of some gang kid? You're better than this. Emma is 5 years old. Her mother's dead. And I'm a teacher. It's literally my job to care. Your job. Marcus laughed, bitter. Right. Your job that pays shit, in a school where half the kids don't speak English. You could have had a real life with me. House in the suburbs. Security. Respect. You beat me. I corrected you. There's a difference. Nico moved. Fast. 1 second he was sitting. The next he had Marcus by the throat, slammed against the booth. Say that again, Nico whispered. Give me a reason. Marcus's hand went to his gun. Nico's hand caught his wrist, twisted until Lila heard bones creak. Nico. Her voice cut through the violence. Let him go. He just admitted. I know what he admitted. Let him go. Nico released him slowly, sat back down. His hands were shaking. Actually shaking. Marcus rubbed his throat, eyes watering. You're dead. You know that? Assaulting a police officer. You called Child Protective Services, Lila interrupted. Told them Emma was in danger. Then you tipped the FBI so they'd take her into custody. Why? Because she is in danger. Look who she's living with. No. Lila leaned forward. You did it because you knew they'd take her from me. Knew I'd be alone again. Vulnerable. And then you could... She stopped. Saw it in his eyes. The plan. The cold calculation. You're not getting her back, Nico said. And you're not getting Lila. So here's how this works. You drop the investigation. You tell the FBI you were mistaken. You disappear from their lives. Or what? You'll kill me? Marcus smirked. I have insurance. Anything happens to me, evidence goes straight to the state's attorney. Your entire operation. Names, dates, transactions, everything. I know, Nico said calmly. Tommy Reese, your partner, sold you out for 20 grand last month. I already have your insurance policy, Sterling. It's worthless. The color drained from Marcus's face. So here's the new deal, Nico continued. You walk away, clean, quiet, or I don't kill you. I destroy you. Every dirty thing you've ever done goes public. The bribes, the evidence tampering, the woman you put in the hospital in 2019, the teenager you assaulted during a traffic stop. All of it. You can't prove... I can prove everything. Nico's voice was soft. Final. Test me. Marcus looked at Lila. You're really choosing him? A fucking monster? He's never put his hands on me, Lila said quietly. He's never made me feel small. He's never hurt a child in his care. Can you say the same? Marcus's face twisted. This isn't over. Yeah, Nico said. It is. In the car afterward, Lila's hands wouldn't stop shaking. You okay? Nico asked. No. She laughed, high and thin. I'm really not. He'll back off now. He knows I have him. For how long? Men, like him, don't just quit. Nico was quiet for a moment. Then we make sure he has no choice. How? He looked at her. You trust me? It was a genuine question. No pressure, just a question. Lila thought about the last 6 days, about Emma sleeping peacefully for the first time in weeks, about heated floors and fixed stuffed rabbits, and a man who read bedtime stories with different voices, about someone who kept his promises. Yeah, she said. I do. Then let me handle this, my way. No. Violence. Just strategy. What kind of strategy? Nico smiled, sharp and cold. The kind your ex taught me by being a dirty cop. We're going to use the system against him. And you're going to help. The plan was simple, dangerous, and entirely dependent on Lila's ability to lie convincingly to the man who'd spent 2 years learning how to read her. You want me to meet him alone, Lila said, staring at the wire Nico's tech guy was holding. It looked like something from a spy movie, tiny, microphone, nearly invisible. And get him to confess. Not confess, just talk. Nico leaned against his desk, arms crossed. Marcus thinks he's untouchable. Men like that love to brag when they think they've won. And if he doesn't? If he realizes what I'm doing? You'll be 2 blocks from me. I'll have eyes on you the whole time. He touches you. I'm there in 30 seconds. Lila looked at Emma, who was coloring at the coffee table across the office. The girl had drawn another family. Stick figures labeled Tio Nico, Miss Lila, and a smaller one labeled Emma. A house, a son. She can't lose anyone else, Lila whispered. She won't. Nico's voice was iron. I give you my word. Your word. Lila laughed, but it came out broken. A mobster's promise. That's what I'm betting my life on. I've never broken a promise to you, have I? He hadn't. Every single thing he'd said he'd do, he'd done. The safety, the protection, the patience with Emma, even the restraint with Marcus, when every instinct probably told him to end the threat permanently. Okay, she said. Let's do it. They chose a coffee shop Marcus liked, public enough that he'd feel safe, quiet enough to talk. Lila sat in a corner booth, the wire cold against her skin beneath her sweater. Her phone was on the table, recording as backup. Marcus arrived exactly on time. He looked tired, she noticed. Dark circles under his eyes, hair not quite as perfectly styled as usual. You came, he said, sliding into the seat across from her. You said you needed to talk. I do. He reached across the table, tried to take her hand. She pulled back. His jaw tightened. Lila, this has gone on long enough. Whatever point you're trying to make, you've made it. Point. About me, about us. I get it. I fucked up. I lost my temper sometimes, and I'm sorry. But running off with some gangster? Living in his house? It's beneath you. He's been kinder to me in a week than you were in 2 years. Marcus's eyes flashed. He's using you. That's what men like him do. They see weakness, they exploit it. Like you did? I loved you. His voice rose. An elderly couple at the next table glanced over. He lowered his tone, forced calm. I loved you. I provided for you. I protected you. You choked me. Lila kept her voice steady, clinical. In our bedroom, because I forgot to buy the right beer. You made me angry. I made you? I made you put your hands on my throat? You have to understand the pressure I was under. The job, the constant stress. I needed you to be better, more supportive. Lila felt something cold settle in her chest. He actually believed this, believed he was the victim. What about Emma? She asked. What about her? She's not your responsibility, Lila. She's some gang kid whose mother got what she deserved, being where she was. She was picking her daughter up from school. In that neighborhood? At that time. Marcus shook his head. She knew the risks. And now you're throwing your life away playing house with her and a criminal. It's pathetic. So you called CPS, got the FBI involved. I did what I had to do to protect you from yourself. He leaned forward, earnest now. Baby, I'm trying to save you. From him. From this situation. Come home with me. Right now. We'll forget all this happened. I'll forgive you for... Forgive me? Lila's laugh was sharp. For leaving after you beat me? For not coming back when you stalked me? I never stalked. You parked outside my apartment every night for a week. I was protecting you. That's not stalking, that's concern. You used your badge to find my new address after I moved. You accessed sealed CPS records to find out about Emma. Marcus's eyes narrowed. Who told you that? Doesn't matter. It's true, isn't it? I have resources. I used them. For your own good. And the FBI? Was that for my good too? If it gets that kid away from you and Caruso? Yes. He reached for her hand again. Caught it this time. His, grip was tight. Too tight. You don't belong in his world, Lila. You belong with me. Where you're safe. Where you're taken care of. I'm not coming back, Marcus. His grip tightened until her bones ached. Yes, you are. You're hurting me. I'm making you see sense. His voice dropped, went cold. You think he actually cares about you? About that brat? He's a criminal, Lila. He hurts people for a living. And when he's done using you, when you're not useful anymore, he'll throw you away. That's what men like him do. Let go of my hand. Or what? You'll call your boyfriend? He's not here, baby. It's just you and me. Like it's supposed to be. Marcus stood, still gripping her wrist, pulled her up. "We're leaving, now. You're going to come with me, and we're going to fix this." "Marcus, you made me do this. You made me call the FBI. You made me watch you whore yourself out to a mobster. But I still love you. I'm still willing to forgive you. Let go." "No." His voice was absolutely certain. "You're mine, Lila. You've always been mine, and I'm taking you home." The door to the coffee shop opened. Nico stood there, 2 of his men behind him. His face was empty, controlled, but his eyes were murder. Marcus saw him, released Lila's wrist, stepped back. "Caruso, this is a private conversation. You're done talking." Nico's voice was soft, deadly. "Step away from her. Or what? You'll assault a police officer? In public?" Marcus smiled. "Go ahead. Give me a reason. To arrest you." "You won't arrest anyone." Nico held up a phone. "Because I've got everything. 2 years of domestic violence, abuse of police resources, harassment, and just now, assault and attempted kidnapping, all on tape." Marcus's face went white. "That's illegal recording. Won't hold up in court." "Maybe, but it'll hold up in the court of public opinion, and with internal affairs, and with the state's attorney's office, who's been looking for a reason to investigate you for months." "You're bluffing." "Am I?" Nico pressed play. Marcus's voice came through the speaker, crystal clear. "You made me call the FBI. You made me watch you whore yourself out to a mobster. That's nothing. You're mine, Lila. You've always been mine. And I'm taking you home." The color drained completely from Marcus's face. "Here's what's going to happen," Nico said quietly. "You're going to resign. Effective immediately. You're going to leave Chicago, and you're never going to contact Lila or Emma again. And if I don't, then this recording goes to every news station in the city, along with the body cam footage, the internal affairs complaints, the hospital records from the women you've assaulted, all of it." Nico stepped closer. "I won't kill you, Sterling. I'll destroy you, and you'll spend the rest of your life in a cell with the same men you put there. Think they'll be friendly?" Marcus looked at Lila. "You did this. You set me up." "I protected myself," Lila said, quietly. "Like I should have done 2 years ago." "You bitch." Nico moved, didn't touch Marcus, just stood between him and Lila, a wall of controlled violence. "Walk away," Nico said. "Right now, or I forget about being civilized." Marcus stared at both of them. Then he turned and walked out of the coffee shop. Lila's legs gave out. Nico caught her, held her upright. "I've got you. You're okay." "He's not going to stop. He'll find another way." "He won't." Nico pulled out his phone, made a call. "It's done. Send it." Within minutes, Lila's phone started buzzing. News alerts. Marcus Sterling, decorated Chicago PD officer, under investigation for abuse of power. Resignation effective immediately. "How?" Lila started. "I've had the evidence for days. Just needed him to give me enough rope to hang himself." Nico looked at her. "You did good. You were perfect." Lila started crying. She couldn't help it. 2 years of fear, of looking over her shoulder, of waiting for him to find her. And it was over. Nico held her while she sobbed. Didn't say anything. Just held her. When she finally looked up, Emma was standing in the doorway of the coffee shop, one of Nico's men watching her. The little girl's face was pale. "Is the bad man gone?" Emma asked. "Yeah, Piccola," Nico said gently. "He's gone." "For real?" "For real." Emma ran to Lila, wrapped small arms around her waist. "Don't cry, Miss Lila. We're safe now," Tio Nico promised. And he had. The relief lasted exactly 4 days. Then the FBI came back. This time they had a warrant. A real one, signed by a federal judge. Emma Chen, material witness in the murder of her mother, Jade Chen, needed for testimony. Immediate placement in federal protective custody. Lila read the document with shaking hands while Emma clung to her leg. They can't. Marcus is gone. There's no threat. The threat isn't Marcus, the lead agent said. Not unkindly. Your ex-boyfriend was a complication, but the real issue is the gang war. Jade Chen was killed in crossfire between the Southside Kings and a rival crew. We need Emma's testimony to build the case. She's 5 years old. She can't. She identified one of the shooters in a photo lineup. We need her testimony to make charges stick. Nico stood in the foyer, perfectly still. Lila could feel the violence radiating off him like heat. She's traumatized. You put her on a stand, you'll destroy her. We'll have child psychologists. Trained. Professionals. You'll have strangers asking her to relive her mother's death over and over. That's what you'll have. Nico's voice was ice. She's finally sleeping through the night, finally eating normally. And you want to tear that away. The agent's face was sympathetic but firm. I understand. But this is bigger than one child's comfort. We're talking about dismantling a criminal organization responsible for 17 murders. Then do it without using a kindergartner as your weapon. We can't. Without her testimony, the case falls apart. The agent looked at Lila. I'm sorry, but she needs to come with us. Now. Emma started screaming, not crying, not protesting, screaming like the world was ending. She wrapped herself around Lila's leg, fingernails digging in, voice going raw. No, not again, please. Lila dropped to her knees, tried to hold the thrashing child. Emma, baby, it's okay. They're taking you, like they took Mommy. No. I'm not going anywhere. Liar. Everyone leaves. Everyone dies. The agent stepped forward. Miss Chen, I need you to... Nico's hand shot out, stopped him. You touch that child, you lose the hand. Mr. Caruso, threatening a federal agent, isn't a threat, it's a fact. Nico's eyes were empty. Dead. You're not taking her. 2 more agents stepped into the foyer, hands on their weapons. The air went electric with tension. Lila saw it happening, saw Nico making a choice. The wrong choice. The violent choice. Stop, she said. Louder. Everyone stop. Emma was hyperventilating, making sounds that didn't seem human. Lila gathered her up, held the small body against her chest. Looked at Nico. Don't, she whispered. Please, this isn't the way. They're taking her. I know. But if you fight them, it proves them right. That she's in danger here. That you're the threat. Lila's voice broke. There has to be another way. Nico's hands were fists at his sides. What way? Lila looked at the lead agent. How long? For testimony. We'd need her for depositions. Trial prep, the trial itself. Could be 6 months, maybe more. 6 months. Emma would be 6 years old. Would forget what safety felt like. Would forget Tio Nico's bedtime stories and Lila's hugs and the house where she finally learned to sleep without nightmares. What if, Lila said slowly, we could give you the case without her testimony? The agent frowned. We already explained. You need a witness to identify the shooter. You have Emma's photo lineup. What if you had someone else who saw the shooting? An adult. Someone credible. We've interviewed everyone at the scene. No one's willing to talk. Because they're scared of retaliation. Lila looked at Nico. But what if someone powerful offered them protection? Real protection. The kind that makes gang members think twice. Understanding flickered in Nico's eyes. You want me to find witnesses. I want you to make them feel safe enough to tell the truth. The agent shook his head. We can't accept protection from a what? A criminal? Nico's smile was sharp. You were about to traumatize a 5-year-old to close your case. Don't pretend you have moral high ground here. Mr. Caruso. I know who saw the shooting. 3 people. Bodega owner, his son, and a woman who lives above the store. They won't talk because they're scared the Kings will burn them out. Nico pulled out his phone. Give me 48 hours. I'll deliver all 3 with full statements. You get your case. The kid stays here. It's the deal. Take it or leave it. The agents looked at each other. The lead agent sighed. 48 hours. But if you don't deliver, we're back with child services and a court order. I'll deliver. They left. Emma's screaming had dissolved into hiccuping sobs. Lila carried her to the couch, rocked her. Nico stood in the middle of the foyer, looking at his hands. I almost killed them, he said quietly. Right here, in front of you. Both. But you didn't, because you stopped me. He looked at her. If you hadn't, but I did. Lila stroked Emma's hair. The girl was going limp, exhausted from terror. You listened to me. You chose different. I don't know if I can deliver this. The witnesses... You'll find a way. You always do. Nico was quiet for a long moment. What if I can't? What if they take her anyway? Then we fight. Legally. With lawyers and courts and everything the system is supposed to provide. Lila met his eyes. But we don't become what they think we are. We don't prove them right. You're asking me to be something I'm not. No, I'm asking you to be what you promised Sophia you'd be. Nico flinched like she'd hit him. A man who protects kids, Lila continued softly. Not by violence, by being better, by showing them there's another way. And if being better means she ends up in the system anyway, then at least she'll remember you tried. She'll remember someone cared enough to choose the hard way. Lila's voice shook. Isn't that what Sophia deserved? Someone who tried? Nico's face crumpled for half a second. Then he rebuilt it, stone by stone. I'll make the calls, he said. Walked toward his office. Paused in the doorway. Thank you, he said without turning around, for stopping me. Thank you for letting me. 36 hours later, Nico delivered. The bodega owner, his son, the woman from upstairs, all 3 willing to testify with written statements, lawyer, present. The FBI got their case. Emma got to stay. But something had shifted in Nico. Lila saw it in the way he moved, the way he spoke. Like he was wearing a skin that didn't quite fit anymore. One night, after Emma was asleep, she found him in his office, staring at Sophia's photograph. I'm done, he said. Done with what? This. He gestured vaguely. The family, the business, all of it. Lila's heart stopped. What are you saying? I'm saying you were right. I can't keep doing this and be the man that little girl thinks I am. He looked at her. I can't be what you need and stay in this world, so I'm choosing. Nico. I've been building an exit for years. Legitimate businesses, security consulting, corporate protection. I can walk away clean. He smiled, but it was sad. I just needed a reason to actually do it. Emma and I aren't your responsibility. Yes, you are. His voice was fierce. You became my responsibility the second I promised to keep you safe. And I keep my promises, Lila. All of them. Lila crossed the room, stood in front of him, close enough to see the gray in his eyes, the fine lines at their corners. What if we fail? She whispered. What if going straight means you can't protect us? then I'll fail trying to be better. That's the choice. He reached up, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear. The touch was gentle, careful. I spent 20 years being my father's son. Maybe it's time to be Sophia's brother instead. Lila didn't think, just acted. She kissed him. Nico froze. Then his hands came up to frame her face and he kissed her back. Slow, deep, like he was memorizing the moment. When they broke apart, they were both breathing hard. "Is this okay?" he asked. "Because if you're doing this out of gratitude or fear or—" "I'm doing this because I want to." Lila smiled. "Because you're infuriating and dangerous, and you make hot chocolate for traumatized kids. Because you kept every promise. Because you're trying to be better. I might fail. We all might fail, but I'd rather fail with you than succeed with anyone else." Nico pulled her close, rested his forehead against hers. "I don't deserve this. Neither do I. But we're taking it anyway." And for the first time in maybe his entire life, Nico Caruso felt something like peace. 3 months later. The courthouse was gray stone and marble, echoing with footsteps and whispered conversations. Lila stood in the hallway outside family court, Emma's hand in hers. Nico, beside them in a dark suit that cost more than Lila's car used to be worth. "You ready?" Nico asked. Lila looked down at Emma, who wore a new dress, blue with white flowers, and shiny black shoes. Her hair was in careful braids. She looked like a normal kid, happy, healthy. "Are you ready, baby?" Lila asked. Emma nodded seriously. "I want you to be my real mommy, not just foster. That's what we're doing today. And Tio Nico, will he be my real Tio?" Nico crouched down to her level, the way he always did now. "If you want me to be, I want you to be my daddy." The words hung in the air. Lila's breath caught. They hadn't discussed this. Hadn't even— "Emma, sweetie, Nico and I aren't married. We're just— But you love each other." Emma's voice was matter of fact. "And he lives with us now. That's what daddies do." It was true. Nico had moved into Lila's new apartment, the one he'd helped her find in a safe neighborhood, the one with heat that actually worked, and windows that locked properly. He slept on the couch most nights, sometimes in Lila's bed, but always above the covers, always careful. They were taking it slow, but Emma was right. He was there, every morning, every night, reading bedtime stories, making breakfast, helping with homework, being steady, being a father. Nico's eyes were wet. "I would be honored," he said carefully, "to be whatever you need me to be, Piccola. But that's a big decision. We should talk about—" "I already decided." Emma threw her arms around his neck. "You're my daddy." "'Kay?" Nico looked at Lila over Emma's head. She saw the question in his eyes, the hope, the fear. She nodded. Nico held Emma tight, face buried in her small shoulder. When he pulled back, his eyes were red. "Okay," he whispered. "Okay." The adoption hearing took 20 minutes. The judge reviewed the case, asked Emma questions in a gentle voice, asked Lila about stability, about income, about support systems, asked about Nico's presence in the home. Lila answered honestly. "He's been essential. Emma's therapist says having a consistent male figure has helped her healing significantly. And he's—" She looked at him. "He's family." The judge made notes, looked at Nico. "Mr. Caruso, you have quite an interesting background." Nico's jaw tightened. "Yes, Your Honor." "I've read the reports. No criminal convictions, several commendations from the FBI for cooperation in a recent case, and you've recently registered a legitimate security consulting firm." "Yes, ma'am." Are you planning to maintain a relationship with this child? Yes. No hesitation. Absolutely. In what capacity? Nico glanced at Lila, then back at the judge. In whatever capacity her mother allows. But I'm not going anywhere. That's a promise. The judge studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled. Good. Because that little girl needs people who keep their promises. She signed the papers. Emma Chen officially became Emma Chen Porter, Lila's daughter, legally, permanently. They walked out of the courthouse into April sunshine. Spring in Chicago, finally warm, the air smelling like rain and new grass. Emma held both their hands, swinging between them. Can we get ice cream? Absolutely, Nico said. Can we get a puppy? Maybe. Can we? Emma, Lila laughed. One thing at a time. They went to the ice cream shop on Lakeshore Drive, sat at a table outside, watching boats on the water. Emma got chocolate with sprinkles, made a mess, didn't care. I drew a picture at school, she announced. Want to see? She pulled a folded paper from Lila's purse, smoothed it out on the table. A house, 3 stick figures, labels, Mommy, Daddy, Emma. My teacher said to draw my family, Emma explained through a mouthful of ice cream. This is my family. Lila looked at Nico. He was staring at the drawing like it was something sacred. Yeah, Piccola, he said softly. This is your family. That night, after Emma was asleep in her new bedroom, painted, yellow with glow-in-the-dark stars on the ceiling, Lila and Nico sat on the couch, close but not touching, careful. She called you Daddy, Lila said. I heard. And you said yes. I did. Nico looked at her. Is that okay? Is it okay? Lila laughed. Nico, you reorganized your entire life for us. You left the only world you knew. I chose you, both of you, over everything else. He took her hand. And I'd do it again. Every time. Lila laced her fingers through his. I got a job, offer. Lincoln Park Academy. Private school, better pay, better resources. That's amazing. They know about my past, about Marcus, about everything. She smiled. Apparently the director's sister survived an abusive relationship. She said I'd be perfect for their trauma-informed teaching program. You would be. I start in the fall, which means... Lila took a breath. Which means we'll need more stable childcare, more structure. I can do that. My business is flexible. Or, Lila interrupted, you could move in, officially. Not just sleeping on the couch, actually living here, with us. Nico went very still. Lila, I love you. The words tumbled out. I know it's fast. I know it's crazy. But I love you, and Emma loves you, and I'm tired of pretending you're just the guy who helps out sometimes. You're more than that. You've been more than that since the night you showed up at my apartment and made hot chocolate. Nico's eyes were bright. I love you too. God, I love you both so much it scares me. Then stop being scared. Move in. Be Emma's dad. Be... She smiled. Be mine. He kissed her. Soft at first, then deeper, like he was pouring everything he couldn't say into the contact. When they broke apart, he was smiling. Really smiling. The kind of smile that transformed his entire face. Okay, he said. Okay. 6 months after that. The apartment had changed. Emma's artwork covered the refrigerator. Nico's coffee maker took up half the counter. There was a dog, a golden retriever puppy named Sunny, who was currently destroying a shoe in the corner. It was chaotic, loud, full, perfect. Lila stood in the kitchen, watching Nico help Emma with homework at the table. He was patient, pointing out letters, praising her efforts. The girl was thriving. Her therapist said she was making remarkable progress. The nightmares had mostly stopped. She'd made friends at her new school. She laughed all the time now. "Daddy, how do you spell family?" "Sound it. Out, Piccola." M-L-Y? Close. F-A-M-I-L-Y. See? 2 eyes. That's a weird word. Yeah, but it's a good word. Emma looked up, saw Lila watching. "Mommy, come help." Lila joined them at the table. Nico's hand found hers under the table, squeezed. This was it. This was the life they'd built from broken pieces. A former mob boss who'd walked away from power. A teacher who'd survived abuse. A little girl who'd lost everything and found it again. A family. Not perfect, not traditional, but theirs. And it was enough. Sometimes the people who save us aren't the ones we expected. Sometimes they're the ones the world told us to fear, the ones with dark pasts and dangerous reputations. But maybe that's exactly why they understand, why they fight harder, why they keep their promises when everyone else breaks theirs. Lila once believed that asking for help was the same as giving up. Emma thought safety was something that disappeared the moment you found it. And Nico spent his whole life thinking he was too broken to deserve anything good. They were all wrong. Because family isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up. It's about keeping your word when it would be easier to walk away. It's about choosing love over fear, again and again, even when the world says you're foolish for trying. Sophia never got her second chance. But maybe, in some way, through Nico's choice to be better, through Emma's laughter and Lila's strength and the life they built, together, she got to live anyway. Maybe that's what all of us are searching for. Not perfection, not salvation. Just someone willing to fight for us when we're too tired to fight for ourselves. Someone who keeps their promises. Someone who chooses us. And maybe, if we're very lucky, we get to choose them back. If this story touched something inside you, we'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us about second chances, about the people who showed up when you needed them most. Hit like to support stories that remind us redemption is possible even in the darkest places, and subscribe to Shadows and Second Chances. We bring you new emotional journeys like this one every single day. Before you go, check out our next video on screen, or explore our playlist for more tales of love born from unexpected places, of broken people finding wholeness, of promises kept against all odds. Thank you for being here, for believing with us that everyone deserves a second chance. Good night, and remember, even in the coldest night, warmth finds a way in.